A little sort of bridge of normality, that's what porters are. We're not giving you drugs, we're taking you procedure, talking about the weather, football, whatever, you know, and you do strike up a rapport with patients.
No one has a greater run of the hospital than the porters.
Gerry, bed 11. I'm just going to sort the notes out.
Always behind the scenes, moving patients from one place to the next.
The upside is when they go home, but during this, it's hard to put into words, but they may not be with us anymore, see.
Recently, Gerry's work has taken a grim turn. In the single month that we spent filming at the Royal Free in central London, 130 people died in the hospital with COVID-19. It's also the porter's job to take them to the mortuary.
For example, when you saw me in the mortuary, there would have been names that I knew. I mean, I'm getting quite emotional talking about it now, actually.
In recent days, the influx of COVID patients has decreased. This emergency COVID ward we showed you 3 weeks ago, adapted for the virus, has now been cleared out and cleaned to make space for non-COVID patients. Alison, who has a genetic condition called polycystic liver disease, has waited more than 18 months for a transplant.
Basically, my liver's about 3 or 4 times the size it should be, plus it's covered in cysts and they're full of fluid. With COVID and everything else, there's been a long delay to my treatment, so I'm really hoping that today's the day.
Alison had to be dropped from the waiting list during the first COVID wave, and liver operations were completely paused in January due to the pandemic. But finally, the complex procedure can go ahead.
You can take some nice deep breaths in and out.
One of 7 specialist liver centres in the country, this is what the medics want to be getting back to.
To be on that roller coaster of waiting at home, knowing that your liver disease is getting worse, and that this is the only treatment that's going to be life-changing, life-saving for her, I can't really imagine what these patients are going through.
The operation was a success, but patients like Alison require intensive care for several days. And in separate enclosed COVID wards, intensive care is still at double capacity, patients requiring round-the-clock treatment, with questions remaining over how to keep resourcing it all.
How do we decompress, which is a technical term for how do we reduce the number of ICU beds? How do we give our staff a break?
What's the answer?
And then how do we make sure that all those patients who need surgery in particular, but also other services? So the answer, unfortunately, that we're going to need a conversation with the public about how long patients are going to have to wait for treatment. It's going to take years, not months, to recover from.
One of my colleagues is in here now, in intensive care, with the virus. And it's really bad in this hospital.
Is it the hospital porter?
Yes.
It turns out Gerry's colleague has just come out of intensive care, and we're able to find him on another ward.
I said, no, I can't leave my beautiful wife. I can't leave my beautiful children behind. I have to fight. And I ask God, please God help me.
And have you spoken to them? Have you spoken to your children?
I do. Yeah. I do, but because sometimes it breaks my heart. It's been a long time. Yeah. I have not seen them. So talking on the phone with them, it makes me cry. Huh? Yeah.
It's okay.
This latest wave is receding. Baker is on the mend. But the hospital is also only just beginning its road to recovery. Jason Farrell, Sky News.